Hello there, my friends. We're going on a nice, relaxing walk through the woods again. It's a new path that I discovered recently. I absolutely love it. And recently I've been talking to various people, and a YouTube thumbnail expert, nice little lad, he said, "Oh, I noticed you've been doing the walking videos, Martin, and you should produce more professional looking videos and have a proper YouTube setup." But the thing is, it ends up looking the same as a lot of other people's videos. And let's face it, if you just pause, and I'm just going to, there we go. Just pause and look at that, and on cue, whatever kind of bird that was, you can tell me in the comments, engage with me. I think there's more atmosphere to this, and I'm experimenting with a radically different thumbnail to this video, which hopefully you will have clicked on because it's artistic and distinctive looking and stands out from the crowd, you know? Bit more interesting, bit more zhuzh, bit more excitement. Oh, look at the birds. You can see. Because all this is on my doorstep, and I love sharing it with you. That's why, in part, I record these videos, so that wherever you're watching this from, I'm sure there's an abundance of natural beauty close by, or a little bit of a journey away from where you are, dear viewer. And this incredible medium of technology that we have can be used for so many beautiful and uplifting things. The really fascinating thing is, though, that we have all of these incredible tools at our fingertips. And if you look at how most people behave online, it's normally to share things to get angry about. And what I notice in a lot of people is they will do clever kind of wordplay things to say it's not how much you count the days, it's how you make the days count kind of stuff. And I kind of feel like that stuff is really outdated, sounding clever for the sake of sounding clever, when there's not really that much substance to it. There's so much infighting and all these different factions trying to prove that they're the real deal, you know? It was only very recently that I heard about the row in the Christian church, that there were lots of Christians, probably mostly Protestants, who were talking about Catholicism as if it wasn't part of Christianity. What? What's this jiggery-pokery? What's all of this nonsense? And then, you know, all the new terminology that we're expected to use, and, you know, the Catholics are all infiltrated Satanists and Orthodox is based. Or looking for the authentic truth in things. And we can talk as much as we like, but the truth is, what are we really doing? And I've just had quite an intense therapy session where I felt like I was raking up a lot of stuff that I thought I'd resolved. And in a particular way, those sessions are the most useful, because I feel like when there's something that feels really old and tired, you want to throw some zhuzh and some vim into it and start thinking about resourcefulness. What am I going to do? How can I actually use this situation that I find myself in, clearing up the mess for what feels like the 10 millionth time, well, how can I actually pivot from this point and start dealing with the situation in a more grown-up, more adult way? And I am so curious and so inquisitive that I find myself going off on a lot of different tracks and threads and trying to figure things out about other people. And I thought, well, what if I actually started to turn all of that questioning? Why don't I actually turn some of the sympathy, for example, that I have for my ex-boyfriend, and turn some of that analysis I've tried to figure him out? Well, why don't I start to actually do that for myself, to myself? And the truth is that people pretend that therapy is this useful thing. Of course it isn't. The point is, people are frightened to do it. And there are certain situations where it feels really, really frightening just to be totally honest about where you are, because it can make you feel like a complete wanker. It can make you feel completely inadequate. But those are the breaking moments, you know, when you can actually figure out, well, what's really holding me back, and what am I afraid to admit that if I do will be such a massive relief. And there are times when I think about my coaching business, my coaching practice, that I think, how the fuck am I going to be able to help people? But the thing is, I've been helping people all along the way and giving them the entirety of my support and my sympathy and my understanding, my exceptional, I will say it, my off-the-charts openness and willingness to give people the time of day. And I thought, well, if I even, in the beginning, just devoted 5 or 10% of that to myself, start understanding that I've been through a lot and how I can use that to actually chart my progress from where I was a gigantic people pleaser into actually going in stages through my evolution to the point that I'm actually at now, and realize ultimately that I haven't given myself enough credit for how resilient I've been, how courageous I've been, and use that to, you know, as a powerhouse to genuinely help. Maybe it's one of you watching this right now. It could be. I don't know. And the thing is, it's okay to not know. But when I observe most people's behaviour, it's just fucking fighting. It's just anger and rage and people feeling powerless. And actually, one of the conversations that I had with my therapist today was I was actually chatting with a very handsome chap, I have to say, who ironically is down in London. And he was being very, very complimentary. Boast fest coming, okay? He was being very, very complimentary about how attractive he found me, how attractive I am. And my therapist, I said, well, how did that make you feel? And I basically said, well, it made me feel quite bashful and shy and embarrassed and meek. And I thought, that's not Martin, actually. It's not. But it's the state that I've sort of descended into, you know, down into the ashes. But we rise from these positions. We take the wins, we lick our wounds and accept that it's all a grand and glorious mess. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing. I have said this in a video before, quite a while ago I think. There's the remake of the film Sabrina with Harrison Ford and Julia Ormond. It's a very good film, actually, very good film. And Sabrina is the rich Larrabee family's chauffeur's daughter. And she goes to Paris through connections from her employers, you know, from the Larrabees that she's grown up with. And there's a woman who mentors her over there. And she says, "You seem embarrassed by your loneliness, by being alone. It's only a place to start." And it can often feel like we're starting over from scratch, but we're not. We are taking the wisdom of all the lessons that we have learned by paying attention, by noticing, by being honest and kind with ourselves, and we roll all of those up and we establish who it is that we are, who it is that we are not, what we are willing to do and what makes us happy and joyful, and what we will discard and say no to. And we walk proudly, we walk tall, and we keep walking our own paths. And it's a harder thing to do than a lot of people believe, but it's a well-worthy journey, because I guarantee you, my friends, that there are many, many, many men just like us watching this who need a helping hand along the way. And by being the best versions of ourselves, we can be a walking example to other men of how to do it as well. We are better together, and we can use these tools that we have at our disposal. So keep walking. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.